Feature Friday.
The freshest.
I'd like to start this with a story.
Okay.
Last year, we had a chance to perform on the same stage as Easy Meal, right, at 1MX London. Some of you guys know, some of you guys don't. And that was the first time post doing a podcast with him that we got a chance to actually meet him in person, and we exchanged a few words. We sat down, we actually had dinner later in the after party, and we got to meet his family, his mother, his girlfriend. I remember the one thing I told him when we first met, we did like a short interview as well, was he was fairly nervous, or just sort of a bit tight about the situation. Like he was quite, it was sound check, and sound checks are always a pain in the ass. We were the last people to sound check. It was long as hell. And I remember just talking to him and saying, it's like, dude, just keep doing what you're doing, and like magic is bound to happen, because he's just one of those individuals that you only get one of them like every so often in a generation. And I'm not trying to blow up smoke up his own ass. Like, it's just, he's really that good. And the interesting thing about him, I would encourage everyone to go watch the podcast I did with him a while back, is that he's not actually just a rapper. He's actually a rock kid, which is funny as fuck.
Yeah.
And I think actually him and, I mean, obviously we don't know Eminem, but knowing like Eminem's discography really well, M sort of likes that style as well. Like, he likes electric guitars, he likes riffs, he likes old school rock. So very interesting. I have no idea what this is gonna come out as. We do have the lyrics, because I don't know. I guess it's English as a second language. Sometimes all these type of fucking words just leave you, even if we've been speaking it for years.
No, it really does feel like this is part of a dream.
Yeah.
It's a dream collab. Actually, for him, this is
pulled out the duality merch during the Terrence Crawford Aerospace.
If I was in the Philippines, he'll be like my motherfucking Malcolm X, my Martin Luther King. Fighting to go unnoticed. There's no way I'm just gonna post him off like he's just some any rapper.
I swear that's a YouTuber.
Kito Abashi.
Yeah, I swear, and he does like reactions. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber. That's amazing.
Cool, dope shit.
Yeah, he reacted to Panal. I remember seeing his. He has like a really cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were watching this ages ago. Yeah.
That's class.
What a cool thing.
Wow, imagine getting that email.
Woo,
We'd
right?
like to have you as
we
the
would
intro.
like to have you sampled one of the things.
Keep that some energy fucking with enemies. Just getting tempted to run in your home.
Okay.
Buddy, I do it alone. Cuddy said, wait on my home.
Dude, I'm so excited for Easy.
You motherfuckers be lucky as fuck that ain't nobody envious of you enough. Take it from me like a brother who dug off the mud on his head but done ended up cuffed. Then he just gets back at it and into a world where he double what he did cause he learned. Give it up or get fucked and turn, homie. I'm the realest in the business and everybody gonna be envious of my business. Got a circus for the sentence with bodies, so stop trying to be another addition. Cause I'm the realest in the business and everybody gonna be envious of my beginnings. Got a circus for the sentence with bodies, so stop trying to be another addition.
You see also the magic of like production, because Easy has always had these ideas, and he's actually been really damn good at executing them in his room. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty mental.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
the layers, the depth of the layers here is actually pretty ridiculous.
I actually love the fact that is you're getting a calm Easy in this beginning, especially that chorus is really vibey. You don't really get like the super aggressive. I think you're gonna get them later. Yeah,
It's funny
you're gonna
as
get
well.
them later.
For bars, breakdown, and stuff like that, no life shack. You all know
just
that shit.
go to him.
For musical composition and musical breakdowns, welcome.
Turn, homie. I'm the realest in the business and everybody gonna be envious at my beginnings. Got a circus for the sentence with bodies, so stop trying to be another addition. Cause I'm the realest in the business and everybody gonna be envious at my beginnings.
I'm the realest in the bit.
It's so good.
I
was
wonder if
just
he's heard
listening-
Rain. I wonder
No.
if Eminem has heard Rain sing. His sister.
Oh, well, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, because I think he
Pulls
might have
out
a blast
sample,
with samples. Yeah.
Listen, but this is so cool because this is one of the things that Easy Meal does the best. He is he's a dark horse in the genre, right? Because he can do so many things that usual straight up rappers would not.
Yeah,
He's an incredible vocalist as well. So bringing in those vocal layers that are so strong in this particular chorus adds so much depth to the auditory experience. If you don't have headphones on, I highly suggest you do.
I done got hit in the head, barely survived that shit. Minus a 9 from 10, Eminem spot still sits, but fuck him.
Very nice, very
Minus
nice.
a 9 from 10. Number 1, Eminem's spot still hit.
Tuning in me and little you rock out with it. I ain't never gonna be an opt out mission. Get the Glock out with it, get the pop and dip out of smoke with the mobbing while I'm cleaning the stash of my caliber. Some of them might got your name on them. While I brag about shit that can happen, I'm the reason that they gotta change. Consider me a gatling, filling up mags. I'm finna go clapping, getting that bag with
Ooh, can you feel the freaking rhythm change up?
Get to killing again with the best steak in your dough. You never getting a penny or less, still in the flows, and I'ma spit it again as a test. Sick of these hoes, they get the bitch and the bigger the breast. Nevertheless, I'ma get it in a way that you can never better. Instead of setting up better, but let up with the bread, make it do in your bitches. Cause I'm kinda getting fed up, always leaving y'all wet up. Like,
And this is where those Tagalog influences come in. That the whole percussiveness and like using onomatopoeical sounds in halfway through the rap allowed so much rhythmicality to come through.
If you have a look at like Flip Top, for example, you have a look at someone like Looney, who is probably, ironically enough, considered by many Filipinos like the Slim Shady of rap battles. The thing is that Looney hasn't really transitioned into English that much. Easy Mill seems to be just as skillful on both, and I think they're actually good mates. Looney and Easy. But there is a specific benefit at having your mother tongue being sort of Tagalog. There is a specific bounciness.
Also, that second verse, halfway through that second verse, the rhythm changes. So it flips around a little bit, and you have a syncopation halfway through the bar. So his rhythm, also his lyrical rhythm also changes, although it keeps the whole structure going on. It's really cool because it's kind of subtle. If you are not paying attention to the musicalization, you wouldn't really feel the tension building until the chorus hits, and it's really dope.
I was actually low key close to tears there.
Hip-hop has been good to me.
This is so unreal.
I'm only top 5 cause I'm white, why would I be stunned? My skin color's still working against me, cause second I should be the number. White ain't why they put me at 5. Nope, it's why they can't put me at 1. Coming with more venom, so the haters I'm aiming it toward them, and all the envious rappers I torch if I'm on a joint with them. And that is the only retort, is I'm not played in the clubs. Motherfucker,
With a cork on it.
They still play your shit in the clubs. It's cause you still performing them. I am like
Wow, that's
in the
tough.
clubs because you used to perform in them.
I actually do. I mean, we obviously like speaking to artists a lot and stuff like that, but I would love to sort of like. I think we're at the lowest level of rap at the moment. Like, I think there's, in terms of rap live music, I've been discussing this lately. I think we're in the dark ages.
Quite disappointing.
And I think that's why you're getting sort of rappers. I mean, fuck it. It's Eminem, it's Easy Mill. I might as well say the other names that I'm sort of having an issue with in the industry. Like, I think that's why like people like Lil Baby are struggling to sell tickets, and the Littles, I guess, and they sort of this new generation. And I guess they do make some music that sort of you can bang your head to. And I like rap a lot. It's my favorite genre, even though I've been evolving because I'm so into drums. But I feel like even in a club setting, you know, where the rappers sort of have these sort of performances in clubs, because you're building your portfolio, you're making some money, it's an easy way to sort of cash in. I genuinely think it's some of the worst performances live I've ever seen.
They really lack.
In terms of musical quality.
I think what it lacks is vocal consistency. So what from a technical
and it is
perspective,
rap. Like, you're not going to judge him as an opera singer.
No,
you know?
definitely not. But there is a generational change between the rappers of Eminem's era to the rappers of today, because they were put on stage first and then they were brought into a studio. And this generation, I feel the problem is that it doesn't translate well, because most of the magic is done in the studio. In
the environment where there's no extraneous variables. There's no hardships.
It's a very controlled environment, and it's really modeled and tailored for the rapper. So when you have them in an environment where the microphones aren't dry and they're hyped up because the environments are everybody's really having a great time, and you want to, as a performer, you want to give back to your audience. I feel like there is a lack of vocal consistency that comes with just years of being on stage, and you can't cheat that.
And let me reiterate my point. I'm not saying we're in the dark ages for music or even for studio music. In terms of studio music and production, we're probably in the best era. Technology and music are really sort of intertwined really tightly together. In terms of live musical performances, there is no doubt that this is some of the lowest ever. You know, like you look at the eras of my father and my mother, you know, they were born in the 60s, late 60s and early 60s. and you know, you had arguably the best era of live music in the next 30 years,
But I
from the
think it's
60s to
because
the
of-
90s.
It's because of that lack of technology being included.
Yep.
Plus, it was so much harder than to record a studio album.
Oh, difficult.
It's so much more expensive than
Everything
it is
was
now.
analog. Everything was one take. The whole band, one
So
take.
the priorities were different, and
Yep.
I think you can do a lot and still earn a lot of money by doing half of the work nowadays.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Let me go back.
Joint with 'em, and that is the only retort is I'm not played in the clubs. Motherfucker put a cork in it. Only reason they still play your shit in the clubs is cause you still perform in them. I am a guest in this house, but I turn this bitch to a mansion. That's an expansion, made it gargantuan. England, Germany, France, and Japan's in this bitch, even Dubai. Because my music they do buy, you die.
Ooh, that's such a cool line.
Down and screw my head up the blue-eyed devil, I never quit, do I? Cause you know you get washed like a bar soap. You pussy, you wouldn't give a cigar to smoke. And I know it eats at your heart like an artichoke. Because you know that's how likely you are to choke. Your heart is broke as I rip you apart. I go bananas, proceed to spit every bar. Bro, I was
I love hearing
That is
him rap.
crazy.
not even close, you bitch. I'm a
Farther go.
Gen Z is acting like rap experts. Sip up your gaps and close your mouths. Bitch, you ain't been on this planet long enough to tell me how rap's supposed to sound.
That's exactly what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. That is true though, and it's Gen Z's though. Easy Meal is Gen Z though.
Well, here's the thing about Easy. There's two types of people that I think come out in the environment where there's no extraneous variables. You have number one, the performers that lack a lot of musical ability. And then number two, the ones that make music their thing and they become music geeks. That's what Easy became into. Like, because he's actually a good musician as well. He's not just a rapper and a good lyricist, but he's a good musician.
Yeah,
he understands music from a quite a grounded perspective for someone who might only been exposed for a really long time to urban music. But the thing is, I think, given his family and given his blood pedigree,
Influences,
his
yeah.
influences of rock, it really helps with sort of his ability to understand.
Musicality and how to translate musical arrangements, which is one of the reasons. If you listen to his albums, you actually get to
Duality might
understand-
be a good example. I mean, it's his most recent, but it's sort of a good example.
But you get to understand exactly the translation between thought, mind process, and actuality of an album making, because there's something different between a concoction of an idea and then translating that idea in the studio is a completely different ball game. And if you are the one who's doing everything from recording the vocals, writing the lyrics, and coming up with the sound and chord progression of the song, everything is down to you. Which is what makes him such a chameleon.
Cause you know that's how likely you are to choke. Your heart is broke as I rip you apart. I go bananas, proceed to spit every bar. Bro, I was spitting before my mother's water broke. It's not even close, you bitch, my father go. Gen Z is acting like rap experts. Sip up your gaps and close your mouths. Bitch, you ain't been on this planet long enough to tell me how rap's supposed to sound. Y'all need to stick to what you do best. Shooting schools up, yeah.
Oh,
go
Jesus
Browns,
Christ.
Parents is gats and go to class and let off at the strap and go to town. Shout to the
Damn,
Furious
man.
Five and Grandmaster Flash, but
came
boy,
for-
there's someone who
the
really is
throats.
furious. Stay out his path, his wrath avoid. And I'll be the last to toy with a juice head whose brain is like half destroyed, like a meteor hit it. Well, then went Melly Mel. We lost his asteroids. Damn. God was like, I got him, but I'm gonna start him at the bottom of the barrel. Brought him in the world where the mother wasn't volume and his father was a coward. Taught him as a child when the fucking body was around how to get himself up and out of poverty. And now, not even a growl in his stomach, gotta be a hound. So they put your body in the ground, probably gonna sound like a cliche. But when haters try to get you down, say fuck them, cause
I'm the realest in the business and everybody gonna be envious. I'm a big guns. Got a service for the sinners with bodies, so stop trying to be in the hood edition. Cause I'm the realest in the business and everybody gonna be envious. I'm a big guns.
Love that line. Love that line.
I'm just playing, Gen Z. You know I love you.
A good call out to how to kill somebody.
That's so cool, man.
That is dopeness. Okay, talk about dreams coming true. This is literally it. If you have a dream, people, keep dreaming.